Sometimes love isn't about what we say, but what we leave unsaid. Welcome to Love and Us, where every story reminds you that even the quietest hearts still find their way home. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that stay with you long after the last word fades. Tonight's story: The Letter She Never Sent. A story about timing, forgiveness, and the love that waited for one more rainy day. It was the kind of morning that belonged to November. Grey skies, a whisper of cold air through the door, and the familiar sound of rain, steady, gentle, like the world's heartbeat slowing down. Emma sat in the corner booth of a café that hadn't changed in years. The same soft jazz played through a crackling speaker. The same waitress refilled her coffee without asking. Outside, people hurried with umbrellas. But Emma didn't move. She just traced her fingertip around the rim of her cup, watching rain race down the window like tiny rivers of memory. In her coat pocket was a letter, crumpled, yellowed, unread and unsent. It was dated 3 years ago, the night she left Noah. Back then, she had been all emotion, tears and trembling words, trying to convince herself she was doing the right thing. He'd stood in the doorway, eyes red from arguing and exhaustion. He didn't chase her. He just said one thing: "If you ever need to find me, you'll know where." She didn't look back. She couldn't. But that letter, the one she wrote that night, she could never throw away. It wasn't a goodbye letter. It was everything she wished she'd said before walking out that door. The cafe bell chimed, and somehow, the sound felt exactly the same as it had the last time she saw him. Emma's chest tightened before she even looked up. And when she did, there he was. Noah. Older now. In that way time makes people softer, not weaker, just more real. A little stubble, tired eyes, and that same half smile that once made her believe the world was kind. He froze when he saw her, then smiled. "Didn't think I'd find you here," he said. She tried to return it. "You always did know where to look." They Saturday. Two people who once knew everything about each other, and now didn't even know how to start. Noah glanced around. Still the same old place. "I figured you'd have outgrown it." Emma laughed softly. "Some things feel safe because they never change." He nodded, fingers tapping the table. "So, how have you been?" It was the question that meant everything and nothing. "I've been okay," she said. And it was almost true. They talked about work, about weather, about everything but them. Until Noah's eyes landed on the letter peeking from her coat pocket. "What's that?" he asked, pointing gently. Emma's heart skipped. "Nothing, just old paper." "Looks like more than that." She hesitated. "It's something I wrote to you once." He leaned forward slightly. "Can I read it?" Her instinct was to say no, but this moment felt too fragile to lie to. "Okay," she whispered, and slid it across the table. Noah unfolded it slowly, like it might fall apart. The rain outside grew heavier. The cafe around them faded until there was only the sound of rain and the rustle of paper. She couldn't watch him read it. Her eyes stayed on the window, on her own reflection, the woman she'd become. Inside that letter were words she hadn't even known she'd written until they poured out. "I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I didn't know how to love myself beside you. I thought time would make it easier to forget you. It didn't. It only made me realize how much I never said." When he finished, he looked up, and for the first time since that night, she saw tears in his eyes. "I kept mine too," he said. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small folded napkin. "Coffee stains, creases, smudged ink. I wrote this the night you left," he said quietly. "I never sent it either." She swallowed. "Why?" He smiled sadly. "Because I didn't want to stop believing you might come back." He handed it to her. And there it was, 4 words. "I never stopped waiting." The words blurred as she read them through tears. They didn't speak for a while, just sat there, listening to the rain, the heartbeat of their story finding rhythm again. Emma placed her hand on the napkin. Noah's hand covered hers, not forceful, just present. And in that small touch, every apology, every memory, every almost forgotten dream came back. He whispered, "You know, it's still raining the same way it did that night." She smiled. "Maybe it's been waiting too." They stayed until the cafe closed. Two people rewriting their ending one breath at a time. When they finally stood to leave, Noah reached for her coat, holding it out like he used to. "You look the same," he said. "And you still lie nicely," she teased. He laughed softly, then said, "Maybe we were never finished, Emma. Maybe we were just paused." She didn't answer. She just looked at him, eyes full of every word she no longer needed to say. Outside, the rain had softened to a drizzle. Streetlights shimmered on wet pavement, and their footsteps echoed softly as they walked side by side, not touching, but not apart either. She glanced up at him. "So, what happens now?" He smiled faintly. "Maybe we start by not saying goodbye this time." Emma stopped walking, the letter still in her hand. She tore it gently in half, and let the pieces drift into the rain. Because sometimes, love isn't meant to be sent. It's meant to be lived again. If you've ever loved someone you couldn't forget, someone whose name still sounds like home, maybe it's not over. Maybe it's just waiting for one more rainy day. You've been listening to Love and Us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that warm your heart and remind you, love always finds a way back.